All right, hello everybody. I'm back for a regular video. Feels like a while since I've done one not on my cell phone. But yeah, I'm late to the party on this one, but this could be interesting. Frank Miller and Dan DiDio announce a new publisher, and it's what is this? Frank Miller Presents, and they signed a deal with Diamond distributors to distribute it, which is great for Diamond. Anyway, so I want to talk about this a little bit. Before we get into it, though, Clint Stoker's Dracula is not live on Indiegogo yet, but a pre-launch page is set up. It's in the link in the description below. You can sign up, and if you back, through the secret perk, I'll figure out exactly how I'm going to set it up. But you'll be able to get a foil trading card that won't be available any other way. So you're going to want to sign up to that pre-launch page to make sure you get it on day one. All right. So back over here to Frank Miller. Now, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. In my opinion, Frank Miller is the greatest of all time. No, I realize it doesn't mean that everything he's done has been a home run. It doesn't mean that his art hasn't kind of changed over the years and, been not as much as my favorite as it was earlier, but really it's about Frank Miller's storytelling ability and however he does that. He changed the comic book industry drastically for the better in just telling awesome stories and bringing the medium of comic books to another level that it didn't exist at before. So I'm always going to be a big Frank Miller fan. Having said that, the question I have now is Frank Miller immune from the disease that has plagued comic books for the past several years in not making very interesting things and instead making political statements, essentially? Can Frank Miller do that? And I don't know the answer to that question. Time will tell, but I'm going to be very interested to see what exactly he puts out. Comic book legend Frank Miller and longtime DC co-publisher Dan DiDio. I'm going to stop you right there for a moment. Dan DiDio, again, long time at DC Comics. He did get canned. He got let go. It's been, a couple years now. And has DC been better for it or worse? Believe it or not, I think that DC has been worse for it. But their new publishing venture, Frank Miller Presents, has agreed to an exclusive distribution deal with Diamond Comics distributors. Great for Diamond. I don't think it really matters, but I'm going to guess that Frank Miller and Dan DiDio probably have friendships and partnerships with Diamond. Clearly, I mean, they have to, just working in this industry, clearly. And so that's interesting. Announced on April 28th, Frank Miller Presents is a new comic book publisher entity founded by Miller, who will serve as editor-in-chief. This is exactly the position that we've all been wanting someone stellar to be in, a great editor-in-chief that is solely focused on making awesome comics. Now, Frank Miller would be canceled over and over again if he could be. So maybe, just maybe, he can do what no other editor-in-chief can do, and that is put the entertainment first. The article continues. DiDio will serve as its publisher. Meanwhile, Frank Miller Inc. CEO Celan Thomas will serve as FMP and Frank Miller Presents COO. Okay, Frank Miller Presents aims to publish both new original works by Miller along with new and veteran comic book creators with the aim to publish 2 to 4 titles a year. That is a strikingly small number of titles, and I actually think that that's exactly where it needs to be. You don't need to be putting out book after book after book constantly. 2 to 4 titles a year is an awesome pace to be at, especially if those titles are books that everybody wants. If you put the energy into making those books must-haves, the comic book buying audience will reward you by getting them. You think about this for a moment. Every single YouTube channel that reviews collected works of any kind of comic books, if you look at their bookshelves, yeah, there's going to be like a Venn diagram. Like some creators are going to, or some, YouTube personalities are going to have a certain number of books. I'm thinking of, people are collecting omnibuses or so on, but despite the differences in their collections, they have this massive overlapping area, and those are the comic books that are must have, that everyone must have. It's kind of amazing when you think about, how many people have Batman Year One, how many comic book collectors own that book, and possibly in many different iterations of that same book. There could be a lot of them, and that's because it's a must have book. Can Frank Miller, who already has how many books on your shelf that are must have books for any comic book collector, can he put together the magic formula to put together those creative teams to be that editor in chief to make more comic books that everyone must have on their shelves? If he can do that 2 or 4 times a year, that's big news. That'll be huge. Obviously, I don't want to get ahead of anything here. I want to see what happens. And it does say that it'll be curated as a line of comics to capture Miller's distinct visual style. Very interesting. That could mean something very different depending on which creator is working on it, but I mean, it's sort of a branding thing. That it's interesting. What exact style are we talking about? We will find out. Investing in artists for the future of comics has always been my one true passion and creative calling, Miller said in a statement first reported by the Hollywood Reporter. Dan Celine and I couldn't be more proud to be launching Frank Miller Presents. We will serve as fertile ground for storytellers and new creators. Our focus for this publishing company is to cultivate a fellowship of artists and writers to mentor, collaborate, and push forward not only for each other, but for the art form as well. Amen. That's exactly what needs to happen. Now I'm interested to see what new artists, what new creative teams that they're going to pull forward and mentor, what veterans in the industry they're going to be pulling in. Lots of questions. And when is the first book going to come out? Have they even started on this? So many questions. But we're surely going to find out. One more quote here. As a startup, it's great to have access to Diamond's knowledge and experience. Frank and I have both worked with Diamond for decades, and I'm excited for this new partnership. Okay, there's where Diamond comes in. Now, certainly Diamond has the ability to distribute these comic books. They already have a name in the industry, and so no doubt that they'll get books out. The question is, will this change anything that comic book shops are doing? Will it convince them to go to Diamond more? I mean, they're going to roll their eyes that they have to, use 2 different vendors, 2 different suppliers for books. But does it really matter? No, I don't think so. They've all had a Diamond account in the past and probably still do now anyway. So good stuff. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below about all of this. Does it matter at all? Are we making much ado about nothing? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.